If you ever read the original Jurassic Park novels, you would know they are horror stories. They are from the get-go a horror story. Jurassic Park, the novel, is very different to Jurassic Park, the movie, for the sole reason being when Steven Spielberg was writing the novel, he wanted to make it a kid's book, but no one would let him publish it as a kid's book. They all thought Jurassic Park should have been scary. So he decided to write it. He made it exactly how they wanted. They turned his just fun kids book into an bloodshed, absolute cruelty. And then he sold the rights off to Universal. And when Steven Spielberg was going to make the movie, he listened to Michael Crichton and decided to make it more of the vision he wanted it to be. Much more whimsical, much more happy and energetic, with the absolute horrors of the dinosaurs still being around. If you read the novels, the death scenes are so much more graphic. They go into absolute detail of Nedry's death when he gets eaten alive by the Dilophosaur after being poisoned. Hammond gets destroyed by compies and eaten as he trips on the stairs to the Innovation Center. Then they circle around him and tear his flesh apart. It's more scary than any of the movies have ever been. Not to say the movies are bad. The movies follow a completely different tone in their storytelling. They can get dark at points. Thinking off the top of my head, the kitchen scene in Jurassic Park 1 can be very scary to people who have never seen it before. Lex and Tim in that moment are in a horror film. Two velociraptors chasing them down in the kitchen as they have to quietly sneak their way through, only to be seen by one of the raptors, chased at, and then getting away at the last moment. They literally lock one of the raptors in the freezer, which is funny, but in the grand scheme of things, those raptors would have killed them if they didn't have everything go their way at that very moment. Things never went their way in the entire movie. But if they didn't get out of that room, they would be dead. The Lost World is much darker than Jurassic Park 1 is. And I honestly kind of prefer Jurassic Park 2. The Lost World has multiple scenes where instead of just being in a park, they take you to Isla Nublar's sister island, Isla Sorna. Isla Sorna is where all the InGen genetic material was being tested. That was their factory ground before they moved the dinosaurs to Jurassic Park. In Fallen Kingdom, the Indoraptor has some scarier moments. I would say in the Jurassic World trilogy, each movie can have its scarier moments. 1 and 2, especially Jurassic World Dominion, harder to think off any of the real scary moments on the top of my head. But the Indoraptor was definitely scarier, in my opinion, than the I-Rex. The I-Rex was scary because of what it was, a creature that didn't know what she was. All she knew is that she could kill and was killing for sport until she found her way in the food chain. The Indoraptor was specifically designed to be a killer, to be sold to the highest bidder. It just, to me, feels like a more scarier threat than the I-Rex, but they both are equally as terrifying. The Netflix show had the I-Rex in it. It took place during Jurassic World, or at least the first half of the season did. The second half took place during the movie as well, but during the park's failure, with the I-Rex breaking out and terrorizing everyone. The show ends its first season by having the campers stuck on Isla Nublar with no one and no way to get home. During the ending of the second season, I believe, all you could hear was a roar, and they showed us this cryo chamber being broken, if I remember correctly. What I do remember was up until season 3, the hype for this show was insane. Everyone was theorizing what animal it could be. We never suspected a new hybrid, the hybrid being the Scorpius Rex. The Scorpius Rex might be one of the scariest hybrids in the show. I would say maybe even the series. Even with Rebirth having the new mutants, which are basically hybrids, Scorpius Rex not only being able to poison with its quills, also having the unique ability that seemingly none of the other hybrids have, being to reproduce asexually. The shows and movies both toy around with the idea of going scary, but they don't ever fully go to the horror route. Jurassic World Battle at Big Rock also played with this fear factor of just a family being on a camping trip until all of a sudden a dinosaur attacks and sends things into chaos. But they never fully have gone full horror. And surprisingly, neither have the games. I love the games. I really do. Jurassic Park as a franchise might be one of my favorite franchises. But most of their games kind of fall under three categories. With the exception of the 1992 game and a few others, most of them fall under either adventure games, side scrollers, or park builders. With the word adventures being kind of loose, since almost every game is an adventure, but some of them are more focused on the adventure, while others are more focused on just either being a park builder or a side scroller. Where side scroller and adventure can overlap, I'm just separating them into the three because there really are like three eras of games. Mainly these eras took place up until Jurassic Park 3 in 2001, but that was mainly the end of the side scroller games. Since then, there haven't really been any side scrollers. There is another game that is an exception to this rule, being Jurassic World Alive. Jurassic World Alive is a pretty fun game. I've played it myself. It's basically just a Pokemon Go ripoff, which most games in this time was, since Pokemon Go blew up, and a lot of games try to capitalize off that trend. But Jurassic World Alive lets you hunt for the dinosaurs in the wild, which ties in kind of to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. They even have the Department of Wildlife, I believe, show up, or whatever Claire's department was that she made in Fallen Kingdom. I totally forget. She can show up like in the store page if I remember correctly. It's been a hot minute since I played the game. But basically, in that game, you can capture dinosaurs, you can synthesize new ones, and then you can create hybrids and have a turn-based battle with different people. It's pretty fun. But I want to look at not only the Jurassic Park games, I also want to talk about Jurassic World Survival. Because Jurassic World Survival is a new and up-and-coming Jurassic Park game that was announced 2 years ago that we really don't know much about. But everything we do know about this game, it's beautiful. And I want to talk about that. But I also want to talk about some of the other games. So, after 1992, 1993 is when the first Jurassic Park movie released. Up until roughly 1998, every single game was a side scroller. Even after 1998, the side scrolling games never really ended up until Jurassic Park 3 in 2001. But in this time period, there was quite a few games that weren't side scrollers. There was Jurassic Park Trespasser. Now, Trespasser is a very fun and unique game. It's very unique. Got some unique features to it. And it's honestly kind of fun to see this game and see the current era of modern games. Jurassic Park Trespasser, to my knowledge, was a game that had high ambitions, but due to the era it was created in, it wasn't really able to live up to those ambitions, technicality wise, but I believe it was very well accepted. People loved the game. And that was 1998. 1999 had another beloved Jurassic Park game, that being Jurassic Park Warpath. This was the start to the PvP dino games, to my knowledge, where you could literally pick a dinosaur and just go fight other dinosaurs. Now, Warpath doesn't fully fit into either of the three criteria that I listed, being adventure, side scroller, or park builder, but I still wanted to bring up Jurassic Park Warpath because I think it's pretty cool. In 2003 is kind of the new era, the current era of Jurassic Park games. After the coma-induced third movie of 2001 Jurassic Park 3, the Jurassic Park franchise didn't have a new movie up until 2015 with Jurassic World. In that time period, though, Operation Genesis released in 2003, only 2 years after Jurassic Park 3. It was the first builder park sim for this franchise, and honestly, it's really cool to look back on this game. This game is beloved in the Jurassic Park franchise. People literally have gone out of their way and reconstructed full-on amenities from that game in Jurassic World Evolution 3 now, due to the fact we have the open sandbox for that game, giving us all the abilities for all the modular building that we want. If you look on the Frontier Workshop, people have rebuilt full-on parks using the Operation Genesis models people have made. It's really cool to go back and see them. Now, the next game is the first game to do something kind of scary. Jurassic Park the game released in 2011, only 4 years before Jurassic World hit theaters and revitalized this franchise. The 2011 Tall Tale game was honestly really cool, and I wish I played this game when it came out. I really want to find a key on it for Steam, or I have to go out of my way and find a DVD for this game and hope it runs on my Xbox or preferably on my computer so I can record it. But the Telltale game was the first game to kind of take a more horror approach with the Troodons. Now, in Jurassic Park the game, you basically are trapped on Isla Nublar, which is a trend for most Jurassic Park games. In the gameplay, it's one of those quick time games, which are what most Telltale games were. It's one of those Telltale games where every option you make counts. Those are honestly my preferred kind of games. Think of Cyberpunk. I love Cyberpunk. I love solo playing games that let your actions actually affect what happens in the story. But moving on. Jurassic Park the game, you have to escape the island. But during your escape, you run into another crew of people who is sent to the island by Dachshund, who runs Biosyn.
You shouldn't use my name.
Dodgson! Dodgson! We've got Dodgson here! See, nobody cares. Nice hat. You're trying to look like a secret agent?
Now, it's not mentioned much in the movies up until Dominion, and at that point, the damage is done to Dachshund. Now, Biosyn isn't mentioned up until Jurassic World Dominion. It's brought up real quick by Dachshund when he asks Nedry, and Nedry tells him in the first movie. And then it's shown up a few times in the Jurassic World Netflix shows, but it's not really showed up. In the game, though, the people on the island were trying to find a cryo can full of all the dinosaur embryos that they were going to sneak off the island and bring back to Biosyn so they could profit off of the animals. This game has honestly some pretty cool dinosaur designs. Not only did this game possibly have inspiration for the Velocicoaster, this game's dinosaur designs are amazing and pretty beloved to this day. The Troodons in this game are where things get scary. The Jurassic World the game Troodons are the first animal that are created and that Hammond actually wants to be destroyed. He doesn't want the Velociraptors destroyed, but the Troodons, the animals that are smaller than Velociraptors, he fears these things. Not because of their size, which does play a factor, but because what they can do. When the Troodons were created, they have the ability to not only see in the dark, but they are also nocturnal, have a venomous bite that has no cure except for one person who has it. And when they kill you, they don't just kill you. They will take your corpse and use it as warmth for their eggs until you die. They are genuinely the most disturbing creatures in maybe all of Jurassic Park, aside from the hybrids. Jurassic Park the game really lent itself to that fear factor. It showed us what a horror Jurassic Park game might look like. And honestly, a horror-filled Jurassic Park game should be made. It really needs to be made. The potential for the horror aspect in this franchise is insane. After this game, though, there was the beloved Lego Jurassic World. I have no notes on this game. This game is beloved for a reason. It's an absolute blast. Honestly, after I finish recording this video, I might have to go steal my dad's credit card and spend the $20 to buy this game on computer. I used to play it all the time on my Xbox. I still have the disc for it. Now that I think about it, I wonder if that game still runs on my Xbox One. Ooh, I should try that. Anyways, the game is absolutely amazing. Letting you be able to customize your own hybrids in a Lego format, it's absolutely peak. You have to play it. After Lego Jurassic World comes the Evolution games. Evolution 1 being a park builder, much in the vein of Operation Genesis. Every Jurassic World Evolution game gets better than the last one, especially with the current released Jurassic World Evolution 3. Came out at the tail end of last year. It is absolutely great. I remember taking the day off school and streaming that game with my friends. We had a fun time, even though they aren't massive Jurassic Park fans, and I just dragged them along with me. But they had fun, and I still love the game. It has endless possibilities, and I just can't wait to keep playing them more. Jurassic World Aftermath came out in 2022. I played the first chapter of this game. It's honestly great. It's a VR game that has a very cartoony, stylized aesthetic, but I cannot recommend it enough. At least the first chapter I have played. The first chapter to Aftermath literally has you flying over Nublar, getting struck down, your pilot dead as you crash land onto the island. You have to carry out your mission while trying to survive a bunch of raptors, as along with the T-Rex and other animals, just to hope you can get what you need and leave. The VR game aesthetic mixed with Jurassic Park is phenomenal. It is so much fun. It's very scary at points. I remember being in the Jeep workshop and also the generator room. Both places, you just had to use the stealth and hoped you were quiet enough so no raptors could hear you. Where raptors, they literally cycled through every one of the rooms trying to find you in that game. They were relentless killers, like raptors in this franchise are. It was a blast, and it's genuinely terrifying. Which is why this franchise needs more of that. The only issue with Aftermath was it's on VR, so not a lot of people could play it. But it's still a great game, and I have to go back and replay it. But moving on to the game I really want to cover, Jurassic Park Survival. I cannot wait for this game. It looks breathtakingly amazing. It looks like a very hard game to play. It gives so much to the aesthetic of Jurassic Park the game. Not only do they both take place in Jurassic Park, but they both follow similar stories it looks like. You're stuck on the island after the park's failure. It looks like it will be easy to slot into the lore if they choose to. In the trailer, you literally see a raptor, and then you can see multiple raptors in concept arts. If you watch the movie, you would know, oh, all three raptors are dead. They even say, when the big one showed up, she killed the rest of the pride.
We bred 8 originally, but when she came in, she took over the pride and killed all but 2 of the others. That one, when she looks at you, you can see she's working things out.
But if you also pay attention to the movie, you would know the animals were breeding, and the velociraptors were breeding and are super intelligent. They never attack the same place twice.
That's right, but they never attacked the same place twice. They were testing the fences for weaknesses systematically. They remember.
They literally had to move the raptors out of their paddock to make sure they couldn't hurt anyone. So seeing multiple raptors supposedly in this game does tell us these raptors absolutely bred in the park, somewhere in their territory, because we knew they had a paddock. So wherever they bred, there are now multiple raptors out on that island, because the team who ran the park never found the eggs, never even knew they were breeding. The studio behind this game also clearly has a lot of passion for it. There's not a whole bunch of tweets on their Twitter page, but if you look through them, you can see they really care. The promotional art they've released is breathtaking. They show velociraptors in the wilderness that look amazing. Yet again, they show 3 raptors on one of the images. Another one shows the T-Rex stalking through the woods. You can see operating buildings in the concept art, like the bunker that Ellie supposedly ran down, if it is the same bunker. It doesn't look to be the same exact one, so it could have been another bunker on the island, but it still looks amazing in the concept art. The short gameplay trailer looked great. They showed things like the egg hatchery, where in the first movie, Grant and the others saw the eggs for the first time. They remade that in 3D for the game, and it looks beautiful. It shows there are eggs still on the hatchery. So maybe they'll adapt the camo changing Velociraptor for this game and the egg bombs, which would be absolutely insane if they did. They also show multiple concept arts involving the visitor center and what looks to be a whole bunch of hotels. It looks so great. This team has so much passion. One of the most interesting things I've seen in these promotional concept arts is the possibility of Lewis Dodgson returning. As much as we know currently is not much about this game or when its supposed release date. What we do know is who we're playing as. Dr. Maya Joshi. Hope I said that name right. I could be very wrong. Anyways, she is stuck on the island trying to find her way off with a bunch of threats. Not only the T-Rex, but also Velociraptors, Dilophosaurs. The Dilophosaurs seemingly being one of the major threats in this game due to how many times we see them in the trailer. I wouldn't be surprised if they play a pretty pivotal role since the Raptors might not take as big of the role with most of them being dead, especially the big one. But as of right now, it's very hard to see, especially since things we have mostly being just promotional art. But if Dawson is in this game, it seems like he's doing what he tried to after the end of Jurassic World in the Netflix show. At the end of that park, he went back to the island trying to find the cryo can of not only embryos, but things he could take off the island. But at that point, that cryo can would definitely have been destroyed. Any embryos in it would be destroyed. They even say it in the movie. There's not a big window for them to get off there. If Dawson is in this game has the potential of being not only canon unless stated otherwise. This game has potential to be absolutely awesome. Like I said though, most of this is just concept art, so until we know further, take it with a grain of salt. But here's the hoping. Like I said earlier, the game was announced 2 years ago and we don't know much about its release date. It's believed that it could possibly be open world, meaning you can go anywhere on Isla Nublar, but it's unsure. I just mainly want to talk about this game because not only is it a newer Jurassic Park game, and many games take the title of World now, not Park, which sucks because Jurassic Park is a pretty cool era in this franchise, especially the possibilities of what could have been if the park never failed. This game looks darker, it looks scarier, it looks more violent. They could be cooking up a genuinely great horror game right now. And I can't wait to see what the team makes. I literally can't. It's going to be so great. Was this video a reason for me to rant about Jurassic Park Survival? Yes, I am not hiding that. It absolutely was. I just cannot wait for this game. I totally forgot about it due to the lack of updates until just recently. And then the other day I found about it again and I'm like, holy hell, there's been updates. I need to look into this game. So here's the hoping some news comes out about it in the near future. I don't think it'll be coming out either this year with GTA 6 coming out on the horizon, or maybe even next year with some other big games coming out, but maybe at the tail end of next year or 2028, hopefully this game releases, and hopefully it's an absolute blast.